What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have a lot of important stocks to talk about today. The market didn't move much, but we saw some crazy action out of Corsair, AMC, BBIG, SKLZ, and a couple other stocks. We also have some news out of Afghanistan, and then Zoom tanked. So overall, we have some great plays to cover in today's video. A lot of important news, so make sure you guys stick around to the end. And if you like our content, or if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. But Tom, what is going on with these stocks like Corsair? I saw us trending on Wall Street Bets a little bit, and it's just popping off.
Yeah, they were really trending up this morning, and early on they ran up to 30.77, and people really thought Corsair was going to have a really nice run up this morning, but then out of nowhere, they ended up coming right back to the downside, which was unfortunate for them. But even though they're coming down, the good news is that AMC ended up flying to the upside. We had GME kind of go flat, up only 4%, but man, AMC had a pretty good day, rising 8.7%, and they're getting back to that resistance of 48.30 that we hit a couple weeks ago. So that's a pretty good level there at 48.30. I'll definitely be eyeing that one up tomorrow. But you're right, these stocks were just crazy today. AMC recently bounced off that 40 support at the end of last week, and then Monday of this week we had a great rise to the upside, and it's just continued on into today. So that's great news, and I hope it keeps making these other stocks like BBIG and SKLZ go up as well, because whenever AMC goes up, you know, all the other hype stocks end up going up too. So it's always great news, and it's just great to see the people coming back in. And I would think if we break 48.30, we could have a pretty easy rise up to $50.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to see these hype stocks back. You know, it's a good thing to see. I'm really watching Corsair specifically. Like, looking at Corsair, I think they have a lot of growth potential for the long term. They're at a relatively low level. And as we've seen today, even though they pulled back intraday, they do have like that explosive potential, just like we even saw like back in November of last year. So Corsair is definitely on my radar, and I really like the setup. And even SKLZ, like when you look at their chart, like on that daily, they're at a relatively low level. They're bouncing off that $10 support extremely well, and they have a lot of momentum.
Yeah, you're right. That is a really good support there at $10 for SKLZ, and there's a lot of upside potential here. So definitely eye these stocks up. I think that there could definitely be some good movement. Now, AMC, I would just more of day trade that one, but man, you're right. SKLZ looks like a really good buying opportunity right now. Even if you just grab some shares and hold it for like the next 3 to 6 months, I feel like that could be a really good way to go with SKLZ. And man, the momentum's coming back and we're right at support. So out of any time in the past I've ever said this, it's probably a good time now.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, they are risky plays, you know, they're extremely volatile, so definitely keep that in mind, but I do like the risk-reward ratios right now, especially on Corsair and SKLZ. I think they're at some pretty good levels, but Tom, fill us in on this Afghanistan news.
Yeah, Biden actually marked today that this is the end of the era with the U.S. building up other nations and stuff like that. So he pretty much said that the war is over. It looked like we finally pulled out all of our troops out of Afghanistan. And the big news is really that, you know, there's some people still there. So it's still a little hairy with the situation going on. But apparently, you know, there's a lot of news going out, like with the Taliban still doing some stuff over there. So just keep that in mind. It might still not be over, but at least we're out of there now. So I'm not sure how the news is going to end up looking after this, but he did come out today and mark that this is the end of the war over there. It's been around 20 years since the start in 2001. So honestly, you know, it's been a long time, and I don't know if the market's going to like this news or not. You know, the SPY ended up falling down very slightly today, not necessarily on this news, but maybe the market will like this news and end up going up in the longer term.
True that. And then one other stock I really wanted to look at was Zoom. This stock's down like 17% today. They just reported earnings yesterday, and they actually reported some pretty good numbers. Their revenue hit $1 billion for the first time. They had strong cash flow, strong profitability, but it looks like investors are really scared of their slowing growth, like over the next year or so. So it sucked to see Zoom down. I like them for the long term. Options are a little bit expensive on them, especially if you want a quality option. So I really like them for like maybe short puts, or maybe even just like slowly averaging into shares.
Yeah, me too. And that rise down, or I mean, that drop down was pretty drastic, but I like it now that it's down by that support again around 275. It doesn't look terrible for the longer term still. And hey, I'm glad they had good revenue numbers because that's great to see. They really beat that EPS, which would have made me think they would go up, but it's just that longer term outlook and that slowing growth is really the main reason. So just looking at it, I like it too. For the longer term, I think it'll end up doing pretty well over the next like year or two. But man, there's some other stocks did pretty well today also, Mike, like BLNK, CHPT, and a few of those other ones. Like look at Blink down here right at support. Reminds me of SKLZ, which we talked about just a few minutes ago, how they're just down here at support. One of those nicer growth stocks too. And BLNK, CHPT, both, even Plug, like they're all down at these lower levels. And CHPT has earnings coming up tomorrow. So keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, true that. So lots of good plays right now, Tom. Even though the market didn't move much, we saw some awesome movement out of some stocks, like you said, BLNK, SKLZ, AMC, BBIG, Corsair, stuff like that. So we're definitely in for an interesting rest of the week, but let's get right into our momentum plays for tomorrow. And with the first one, we have UPS to the upside.
Yep, and with UPS, go ahead and make them rise above 196.11.
All right, with the next one, we have Fubo.
Fubo, they've been a really big runner lately. Make them break out above 29.53 or just 29.50.
All right, and with the last one, we have SKLZ.
SKLZ, which we talked about earlier, make them break out above $12.12.
Sounds great. So we are watching these 3 plays for potential day trades tomorrow, only if they break above the levels Tom listed. But it is now time to shout out our member of the day, and that is Deez Stonks. So huge shout out, Deez. Thanks for being a great member of the Discord, and I know you're even commenting on YouTube a lot. So just thank you so much for being a great member and helping other members. We really appreciate it. So huge shout out to you. But Tom, let's get right into the questions from the previous episode. With the first question, we have Jason and Alex talking about Zoom. So ZM, basically their stock is beaten down, and I know I said it a couple minutes ago, but I do like them for the long term. Now keep in mind that's for the long term. Anything can happen the rest of this week. I think they still have a lot of growth potential, and I just like the level that they're at. They're under 300, and I feel like for a long-term investment, it looks pretty solid.
Yeah, it does for the longer term for sure. In the short term, anything can go on. It could keep falling down below 290. Who knows? But for the longer term, I think it's a great pickup, at least to start averaging in. I mean, that bottom support at 275 is going to be a really good support. So really eye that up, and I'll really be watching it for the next few days as we maybe go down and touch that support.
All right, so Tom, with the next comment, we're looking at Corsair, and Hunter said, Corsair better keep that momentum, otherwise I'm buying a Logitech mouse and shipping it to the Corsair headquarters with a strongly worded letter. All right, well, Corsair, it's moving the right way, it has good momentum, so I hope it definitely continues up.
Yeah, me too. Look at Corsair today. That was such good movement. I wonder how Logitech stocks look. LOGI. Wow, Logitech ended up falling off a cliff today, Hunter. So that's very interesting to see, actually.
All right, then with the next comment, we have David asking about Apple. So, it's a solid long-term stock. It had an amazing day yesterday. It's not my favorite play in the world right now. I just feel like there's just better setups out there, better risk reward setups, like a lot of stocks that we mentioned in the beginning of this video. I'm just going to be neutral on Apple right now.
Yeah, me too. It's up quite a bit, and it did have that down day today also. I would say if like the S&P 500 keeps breaking all-time highs, I would think Apple could keep going up too. It's just going to depend, I think, with Apple on more of the overall market. I did see some bad news come out today that said that some of the production on the Apple watches might end up slowing. So that could end up hurting Apple, but keep in mind, I would think that most of their revenue is coming from the phones, MacBooks, and stuff like that, rather than mostly the Apple watches. And it's just that the production got delayed a little. It's not like anything drastic's going on.
All right. And then we have Tom asking about SPRT. So SPRT it's not my favorite setup, and it reminds me a lot of NEGG. So if we look at SPRT on a daily chart, right, it had this crazy explosive movement to the upside, and that's awesome. but it's just been consolidating a lot. IV is so high, so it's not ideal to buy options on it. And it's still up so much from, even last week. And if we look at NEGG, it was a very similar setup. It exploded up out of nowhere. It went from like $10 all the way up to like 80. It consolidated for 2 days and just fell off the cliff. You know what I mean? So it reminds me a lot of this setup. It's just, I don't like it right now on SPRT.
Yeah, I don't like it either. And I'm with you. It looks just like that type of rise. And I know me and you talked about this a little earlier privately, and it was honestly looking just like that old setup. So I'm with you. It looks like the same exact thing to me. And I would be really careful if you guys are bullish on SPRT. Keep in mind, already ran a lot. Like for people who have been trading like AMC and others, let's just see how big the squeeze was on AMC. So with AMC, if we were around $10, we squeezed up around 600%, right? So let's go see SPRT now. If we go around the lows around, let's just say $4.80 or $5, and we go to the highs, you're looking at 1,100%. So they even rose a lot more than AMC did in that type of time. So definitely look at them more of to come down. I think, it was a nice rise while it lasted, but who knows? Maybe now you can make a lot of money off the puts or off of some type of spread if you open one.
Yep, we shall see. And then we have Peter asking about GSAT. So I know that they had some Apple news and they popped up yesterday, but they're not doing too much today. It's not bad at all. When it has like good momentum, I like it for like short-term trades.
Yeah, me too. It's definitely more of like a day trading stock for me. Like quick in and out day trades is how I'd play it. I don't think I would swing this one by any means. The price is just way too low. And hey, it's good news that they had some Apple news come out though. That's always great. Apple's a great company, and we just saw another stock do that with Amazon the other day. So anytime there's these big catalysts, it definitely helps.
Alrighty. And then we have Outlaw saying, yo, Mike and Tom, happy Monday. What do you guys think of MKFG? MKFG. So there isn't a ton of chart data on this one. It's not my favorite setup in the world. It's not bad at all. It's just I like other stocks more. I'm not sure if you're asking about this for like a short-term or a long-term hold, but either way, they have a pretty big support right around $7.50. So maybe if we retest that, it could be decent for a dip buy.
Yeah, I agree. It's just one of those stocks. It's kind of hard to look at, not too much data on it, like you said. And I do like that support though down there around 750. I think that would be the main place to look to.
Good stuff. And then guys, we're talking about a lot of different stocks right now, whether it be Corsair, AMC, SKLZ, a bunch of different ones. If we're missing any short squeeze stocks that, you like or that are on your watch list, let us know in the comments down below so we can cover them in the next video. So definitely let us know if we're missing any stocks. We'll definitely take a look at them. Just comment down below. But Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or anything you're watching for tomorrow?
Yeah, heading into tomorrow, there's definitely a little bit of earnings I just wanted to cover here right at the end. I will be watching for the end of the day. We have CHWY reporting earnings. They're a pretty big stock. ChargePoint's going to be reporting as well. C3AI, and then Smith & Wesson. Those are all pretty big companies there. I think C3AI, which is ticker AI, is actually in a really good spot right now for the longer term. If you look at their max daily chart, they're down quite a bit. Now, I've heard some bad stuff about their fundamentals and stuff, but if they have good earnings here and they have a good outlook, it could really make their stock pop up. So definitely watch out for AI. And I'll also be watching SWBI, which is Smith & Wesson. They've had some huge rises, especially on their last earnings. They really started flying up off of those. So watch out for this one. It might make them go up again, but who knows? They might end up going down. Just watch out. It'll definitely be a big move.
Sounds good. So if you guys are an options trader, definitely check out that first link in the description down below. You can trade with Tom, myself, and our bots every single day. We have a bunch of different custom bots, and it's a great community. You can cancel at any time. Daily options, swing trades, day trades, and it's just overall a ton of great stuff. So definitely check it out. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. But other than that, thanks for watching.